Good afternoon, and welcome back to the campfire. This is Lady Sayla Sujuris, and I am hosting for our Books-n-Ballyhoo-Show. Today, we have a very nice show planned, and it's going to be a lot of fun and very entertaining. It's a two-part show we're going to have for the Captain-No-Beard series, authored by Carole-P-Roman. She will be joining us in the show as well. Now, part one of the show is going to be on The Crew Goes Coconuts. This is a very interesting book and story, and we're going to share that with our listeners. And then near the end of part one, we're going to have a coconut song and a little bit of trivia for you. Then in part two, we will be focusing on Fribbet-the-Frog and the Tadpoles. And we have some poems and some rhyming songs and a few sound bites. So it's going to be very entertaining. So we're looking forward to sharing all of this with our listeners. But first, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we will be right back.
Fresh for young readers too. Books-n-Ballyhoo. Books-n-Ballyhoo. Keeping it fresh for young readers too. Books-n-Ballyhoo.
Doggy in the shelter.
Hi, I'm Buddy, the adorable puppy you adopted from the Humane Society.
Meow. I'm Whiskers, a fluffy kitty, just waiting for someone to love me.
When you adopt a pet.
Do you see that doggy in the shelter?
Hi, I'm Buddy, the adorable puppy you adopted from the Humane Society.
Meow. I'm Whiskers, a fluffy kitty, just waiting for someone to love me.
When you adopt a pet, we hope your new furry friend will become a cherished member of your family. And as Buddy and Whiskers will tell you, the key to success is following the rules to love by.
Woof, that's right. Please give me food, water, and exercise every day. To stay healthy, I need the same kind of things you need.
Talk to me. I like hearing your voice.
You're my best friend. Please don't stay mad at me or lock me up as punishment. Remember, I'm probably going to live 10 to 15 years, so take care of me when I get old.
One day you'll need someone to take care of you, too.
A message from the Montgomery County Humane Society. Visit www.mchumane.org for the complete rules to love by.
Be your best friend for life.
Fresh for young readers too. Books-n-Ballyhoo.
Welcome back to Storytellers Campfire in Progress. This is Lady Sayla Sue Juris, and I'm hosting the Books-n-Ballyhoo-Show. And a shout out to Janet, who came up with the words for the theme song, and to Matthew Sabatella and the Rambling String Band for creating the very jazzy, catchy tune. So today on our part one, we're going to talk about the Captain-No-Beard story, The Crew Goes Coconuts. And I want to welcome one of our favorite authors to the campfire. Welcome back to the campfire, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you so much for for allowing me to be here. I love coming to the campfire.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here, and your books are always fun and very enjoyable. So it's a nice treat for us to present them for our listeners as well. So I know that things have been a little bit busy for you lately, so and myself included. So it's nice that we get to spend a little time here on the program. The Crew Goes Coconuts. You won the Pinnacle Book Achievement Award for this particular book. And I know on our program before we have shared books about bullying, but often the books that we've shared were for older children. So it's nice that you've been able to use your style of writing and your crew, I should say, when dealing with this particular issue. And what I like about this story, Carol, is that this is actually at a different level than we think of. When you think of bullying children in school and some of the things that have to go on and they deal with, we're usually thinking middle school, high school, and so on. But this is actually a very charming story about a natural situation that takes place and what the children have to do to deal with it. So I really like how you were able to accomplish that in this story.
Well, all the books are based on my own experience as a parent, and of course, I was a teacher. I did teach middle school, but I also have two brothers, and I've also been the victim. One of my brothers is legally blind, and he's been the victim of bullying. I've been the victim of bullying, and even in the that I own a business, and even in the workplace with adults, I've seen grown men bully the new man coming into the office. I mean, it's reprehensible, but I do see it. I see, even in my own office, how people will gang up on somebody they perceive in some way, and I've watched it. And of course I've intercepted and I've made people talk it out. So the book is really organic in that it comes from my own experience with bullying and diffusing the situation. I didn't think about it when I wrote it, but when I read the reviews and I saw how people were so impressed with the way Captain No-Beard diffuses the situation, Captain No-Beard takes a lot of different voices, and in this book he was my voice. And it is just really funny. It's so natural for me that I didn't realize what we actually did here. And the book has won upwards of 4 to 5 awards already, because people really love the gentle lesson and the good common sense that it how it does resolve, because it also addresses why somebody might bully somebody else. It addresses peer pressure and how, in a situation that when you join in, Fribbet is like torn between Hallie and Kayla, who are protecting Matey the goat, and he's torn between his two sets of friends because half the group, Polly, Fribbet, not for Polly, Mongo, and Linus, want him to join in and tease Matey. So it's about peer pressure too, because there are a lot of victims when there's bullying. So Fribbet becomes sort of a victim of bullying, even though he's not a target.
That's interesting. What you just explained there, and one of the things that I also got out of this is that, and actually, this is what I thought you were doing, and this is presumptuous of me, of course, in this particular point, but I thought, because you addressed it so nicely and in a different realm than we commonly think of as bullying. These are young characters. These are very, very young characters in the book. So, I wouldn't naturally just go there. So I thought, as you were writing this story, it was addressing parents and children that the traits actually happen at a young age, and that we can actually prevent it from going further and developing in personalities, or like you said, you mentioned, with your brother, or in the offices where grown men are bullying other people. But if we learn to deal with that at a very young age, first of all, by identifying what bullying and meanness and rudeness is, and those people who do it today, as adults, they grew up in that environment. So with this story, I was thinking, she's trying to get people to address this and identify what are those characteristics of bullying. That's where I went.
Yes. Well, it's like I said, there's many different levels. There's the fact that by ignoring a bully or turning your back on someone who's being bullied, we're allowing a cycle to develop. And we all have to take responsibility and stop people from bullying other people. And that's what Captain-No-Beard does. He assembles his crew, and he makes them he asks them to name one good thing and they, he goes through each crew member. He says, "Tell me something good about yourself." So Mon goes first, and he says, "Well, I don't even remember what I wrote, but I think he climbs really fast." And then something bad about yourself, and I know with Linus, he says, "Well, I'm really loud." So the end result was, Kayla asks, "Why are you asking that?" And someone else answers, "Well, what we have to realize is that there's things that we like and dislike in everybody, and if you're going to focus on what you don't like, and pick on them for what the trait that you don't like, that's bullying, and you've got to stop it. That if you're picking on somebody, you should look at yourself too. There might be something that somebody may turn around and bully you too. So it's best if we all don't bully." And I think they solve it in a really natural way, that we all have something that could be a target, and we shouldn't tolerate it in anybody.
And yes, very true. And I really like how you gently bring the bullying out. And it just simply is, they didn't like the way she smelled. That was a big issue. She was different.
She was
Maddie
different.
was different. They didn't like the way she smelled. And go ahead.
It started with, I think it starts with them being suspicious that she drank all the juice. So it started with suspicion. Then they started noticing that her name was funny, in their opinion. It was, and the way Mady said her name, she said it Mady, so they all made fun of. They said she should be named Gertrude Goat because G starts with. Goat starts with G, and then they said, and it escalates, and then Linus says, "Yeah, and she smells too," and that's how bullying starts. It starts with a poke, and then before you know it, someone's being beaten with a stick, and it could be a figurative stick, but I've seen people destroyed by words, and it's cruel. And Hallie and Kayla try to stop the bullying, and the whole thing escalates. And soon everybody's fighting. The crew is fractured, and they want Fribbet to pick a side. And that's all about that peer pressure I was talking about. I mean, I'm sure everybody has seen it happen in a schoolyard. I'm sure that if you ask everybody to think back to their, to growing up and being in school, they can remember